Now, you've probably seen and or heard that Canada has elected their new prime minister. Admittedly, this is a bittersweet moment for me. Justin Trudeau was the first time I actually cared about Canadian politics. And I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, which is just a hop and a skip away from Canada. I used to visit Canada often for field trips and what have you, but I never cared about their politics until I saw Trudeau in a picture with Obama and I saw their partnership grow over time. This is actually the end of an era for me. This actually feels like the end of the Obama era for me. I remember seeing them in a picture together and saying, wow, here are two young, objectively attractive men who are leaders. And then we went ahead and we voted for Trump. And then we voted for Biden. And then we voted for Trump again. And then Trudeau became the face of young political leaders. And then Canada voted for Mark Carney. Mark Carney is 59 years old, not much older than Trudeau, who is 53 years old, but he was 44 years old when he became prime minister, and Obama was 47 years old when he became president. Mark Carney won in an actual mandate, winning 85.9% of the vote. And another reason why this is a bittersweet moment is because he beat Chrystia Freeland, showing that even a country that is as progressive as Canada is not ready for female leadership. And of course, I'm saying that not knowing about their policies, but I do know that Mark was elected because Canadians felt like he was best equipped to handle Donald Trump. In fact, a good amount of their politics has centered Donald Trump, has been changed by Donald Trump. The conservatives were ahead before Donald Trump started threatening tariffs and threatening to make Canada the 51st state. And then Canada came together to tell Donald Trump, F you. A message that is echoed in the outgoing prime minister's final speech, which brings me to the sweet part about this moment. In Trudeau's speech, he digs at Donald Trump. But I will say that he also digs at his party and any progressive or liberal party. Just watch.
Ella Grace, I know that these last few years haven't been easy for Sav. Hey, Adrienne, yourself. Thank you for having been so patient with me, even when I was stressed, when I was traveling too much, when I couldn't think about anything other than work. But Please know that in the most difficult times, you inspired me. You gave me courage. You reminded me that I should focus on what was really important and not what was just urgent. Being Prime Minister of this country has been the honor of my life, but I'm so looking forward to redevoting myself to my most important role, that of father. I'm proud of the three of you, and I love you above all.
A little bit of pop news here. Um, Trudeau and his wife have been separated for about 2 years. And I'm wondering if this is not just a message to his daughter, or actually his children. He has three. I wonder if this is a message to all of Canada as to why he is truly stepping down. He's not just stepping down to just be a father, he is stepping down to be a husband. Just from what he said, it makes me think that his political aspirations got in the way of him being a good husband to his wife. I hope the best for them.
Now, I know that we as Liberals, as a government, often get criticized by our friends for not taking a victory lap after we get something big done. We do something really big, and then we move on right away to the next challenge. Because as progressives, as Liberals, we know there is always more to do. So it is important to take the time to reflect on and share the big successes. But not tonight. Not tonight, because when Liberals gather, we're always focused on just one thing: the work that still needs to be done to build a country that stays worthy of all Canadians.
This apparently is a problem for all Liberal parties. What is it that we heard the most about why people should vote for Trump? Remember, he gave you that stimmy? That stimmy. Vote for him because he's going to give you that stimmy. Mind you, it wasn't Trump that gave the stimulus check. It was Congress that gave the stimulus check, because Congress has the purse, not the executive branch, not the judicial branch. The congressional branch has the purse. America put these three branches in place so that not one of them has the power, even though I would argue that Congress has the most power. If I were to do anything political, I would want to just go to Congress and I'll just stay at Congress. I don't want to be president because Congress has the power. And right now, Congress has no term limit. You can be in Congress as much as you want, which is a problem. I honestly believe that is a problem, because if we have a term limit on our presidents, and like I said, in my personal opinion, the president has less political power than Congress, then Congress needs a term limit. After Al Green's quote unquote disruption, it was revealed how many people in Congress were 77 plus. This is the reason why we don't have the fire that we need. I mean, honestly, Bernie is an exception. Man, feel the burn, right? He is everywhere. But I digress. There are so many Congress people who are 77 plus. They have no term limit. There should be a term limit on Congress. However, if I were to do anything political, I would go to Congress because they seemingly have the most power and they have no term limits so far. I am telling you, America, let's change that. Even if I'm there, I would like for there to be a term limit. But the point that I'm making is that liberals don't tend to put their name on anything. By my recollection, Biden had more STEMIs than Trump. Yet people remember the STEMI under Trump's administration because Trump put his name on it. Biden did not because it came from Congress. See, Democrats have this thing of doing things right. They don't need recognition. However, the people need them to have recognition. They need them to put their name on everything that they do so that the people will know what they did and did not do.
Liberals are dedicated to making this country even better, not because we think it's broken, but because we have an opportunity and therefore a responsibility to ensure that Canada stays the best country on earth.
I believe that this is an obvious dig at MAGA, Make America Great Again. What Trudeau is saying, let's make Canada better, not because it's broken, not because it's not great anymore, not, in his words, not the best anymore. You make things better so that you can continue to be the best. That is something that has been lost when it comes to America. Our education system has been lackluster for at least 60 years, and the whole world has caught up to us. We don't need to make America great again. We just need to start pressing play. We need America to continue in its greatness. We need America to be better so it can continue to be great. When you say, let's make America great again, you're saying America is not great, which is the weirdest thing coming from MAGA because they believe that America is the greatest country. So it confuses me when MAGA says, oh, no, 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 we need to make America great again. And so now I'm like, wait, so you said that it's the greatest country, but now it needs to be made great again. Are you telling me that it's not great right now? Like the math ain't mathing.
And now, as Canadians face from our neighbor an existential challenge, an economic crisis, Canadians are showing exactly what we are made of. Canadians are showing what it is that makes us Canadians. Not by defining ourselves by who we're not, but by proudly embracing who we are.
So I believe that this is a dig at our liberals, American liberals. When I talk to people who are Trump supporters, they literally talk about how Kamala said she's not Trump. That's all they heard. She's not Trump. They didn't hear her policies. All they heard was she's not Trump. That's the same thing they claim they heard from Biden. I'm not Trump. Never mind the policies that were laid out I'm not Trump. That's all they heard from Kamala and Joe. I'm not Trump. Vote for me because I'm not Trump. They didn't hear about the policies for new business owners. They didn't hear about the policies for homeowners. They didn't hear about that. They heard, I'm not Trump.
We're a country that knows that standing up for everyone's fundamental rights is the only way to protect our freedom. We're a country that believes no one should be left behind and that everyone should have a real and fair shot at success.
A dig at DEI, which is actually DEIA. The A is for accessibility, which, in my opinion, is kind of excessive. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Equity literally means that I'm going to give you what you need to succeed. Like, you're not going to give a person who is 7 foot a stool to see over a fence that is 6 feet, right? You're not going to give them the same stool that you would give, let's say, somebody that is 5'5", who needs that stool in order to look over that fence. You would just give that person who is 5'5" the stool because the person who is 7 foot can see clearly over the fence. That's what equity means. It's meeting you where you are. It's making things accessible for you. So I find adding accessibility to the DEI excessive. However, I guess we have to remember who we're talking to because every time that we mention DEI, people believe that it's only for people who look like me, people of color. And they don't think about the veterans. The veterans are losing their rights right now. A good amount of veterans are being fired right now. But they wouldn't be fired if DEI was in place. DEI programs are put in place so that not just white, straight men with no disabilities are able to work. It gives everyone who is outside of that description a chance to work. To believe that everybody who is considered DEI is lazy and not fit to work, that's crazy. I heard that from a Republican. I forget her name. But in the same sentence that she said, we love our veterans. We will take care of our veterans. 30 seconds later, she says, if they lost their job, then they probably weren't fit for the job. What? You're either taking care of your veterans or you're not. There's no in between. Did you try to find them a different job to take care of them since you didn't believe that they were fit for the job that they had? Some of them had that job for 20 years. Some of them had great reports from their leadership. How were they not fit?
We're a country that refuses to accept the false choice between a strong economy and a healthy environment. We're a country that embraces reconciliation and Indigenous peoples as true partners because it is the only path to a shared, prosperous future. On est un pays
We're a country that celebrates its diversity and draws strength from its differences.
We're a country that celebrates the right of each and every person to be who they want to be, to pray as they pray, and love whom they love. We're a country that will always defend a woman's right to choose.
This part reminds me of this conversation that I had with one of my representatives. His name is Scott Bottoms. Funny, yes. And he's a Republican, a MAGA Republican, and he wants abortion to be banned from the US. And he said that with his full chest, knowing that his wife had a DNC. A DNC is an abortion procedure. He doesn't believe that what his wife had was an abortion because the baby was already dead. Now, what he doesn't understand is that if abortion were banned from the US, his wife would not have the accessibility to a DNC, and she would not be alive right now. I told him about the story of the Georgia woman that Kamala talked about quite often. And he said that that woman should sue the hospital because it's the hospital's job to keep the woman healthy, to keep the woman alive, to do no harm. That's what he said. So he believes that the woman who is dead, and I told him that the woman is dead, he believes that the woman who is dead should sue the hospital that would not treat her because they are supposed to do no harm. The problem with MAGA is that they never put two and two together. He never thought that because the woman is dead, she cannot sue. Even though I repeated it back to him. So you want this woman to sue this hospital that killed her. I repeated it back to him. He didn't get it, or he didn't want to get it.
And we're a country that will be diplomatic when we can, but fight when we must, elbows up.
Of course, this is speaking to the stereotype that all Canadians are polite, they're kind, but I'm seeing videos of Canadians who are saying, yeah, we're kind, as long as you're civil. Elbows up is a term that originated with hockey, and of course, yeah, the other stereotype about Canadians is that they love their hockey. So, elbows up. We about to fight. We're ready to fight. There was an article I read about how Canadians are annoyed by Americans saying elbows up after they saw Mike Myers say elbows up. They kind of chuckle because they're saying elbows up to us. That is their threat to us. And we're using it. Now, without reading this article, I honestly would use elbows up just to show I am not with Donald Trump. I will be with you, Canada. Elbows up. I also thought that it was more so of a kumbaya moment where we lock arms. Now that I think about it, I think that you guys probably would have said lock arms if you meant lock arms. But I'm just thinking about the elbow part of the locking arms, and then you have to put your elbows up. So that was my first thought. And then I read up on it, and I'm like, oh, oopsie. But I will squabble up. Okay. We'll keep squabble up. We got Kendrick Lamar. We'll squabble up. And you do elbows up.
You here in this room and our fellow liberals watching across the country, you know all about fighting with grit, with determination when the going gets tough. You remember where we were 15 years ago with just 35 seats in the House. You remember our ups and downs and all those times that people counted us out, all the times they said our party was on its last breath. Like all Canadians, it's when you try to count us out that we Liberals show our true mettle.
This is a reference to how conservatives were in the lead. The popularity of liberals went down because of the prices of houses and food going up. And that was due to COVID. But that was something that every country felt. And in about every country, the citizens punished their leaders for inflation, something that they had no control over, even though America did the best at it. Of course, you can't really say that to the layman because all the layman knows is that their pockets. They aren't able to do as much with their pockets, the money in their pockets, if they have any money in their pockets. The citizens voted with their pockets in mind, supposedly.
And make no mistake, this is a nation-defining moment. Democracy is not a given. Freedom is not a given. Even Canada is not a given. None of those happen by accident. None of them will continue without effort. It takes courage. It takes sacrifice. It takes hope and hard work.
What a coherent speech, which is something that Trump can't do. He has to do the weave. Do the wave. That's the end of today's video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.